I'm going to start recording then.
Bring it on! oh, now that you're recording, now I'm using funny voices. All right. So good morning, Danielle. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Do you have your tea, your coffee, your tea?
You know what? I did not get tea. I'm drinking my LaCroix this morning.
Yum.
Little fizzy. I don't know. Sometimes I just crave fizzy water. So there you go.
I do too. What flavor? Is that the cherry lime? Cherry lemon? Have you had the blackberry cucumber?
No, I haven't.
It's very good. I got it for a play date because I did my bubbles with bubbles. And I know not everybody drinks champagne at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. So I wanted to get some nice sparkling, and I got that, and it was some of the best that I think I've ever had. It sounded weird because I'm not sure about cucumber in drinks. It was delicious.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try it then.
It's very, very good. Big fan. So what are we talking about today, girl?
Ooh, we're talking about not cheating ourselves.
Yes. Oh, I was thinking we were talking about treating ourselves.
Hey, Rachel. Thanks for hopping on. Yes, we are talking about treating ourselves. I love that you immediately go to the treating, and I'm like, talking about not cheating ourselves.
It's all perspective. The glass is half full, half empty.
Hey, wait, I'm usually a half full person. Or actually, I'm a whole full.
That's right.
An all full.
So, well, why don't you, Danielle, for people that don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about your weight loss and how long you've kept it off, and tell us about you. Tell us all about you, Danielle.
All right, I can do that. As I sip my LaCroix. No coffee for me. That's okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So yeah, some of you, most of you on here know my story. I think that, I don't know as well, but for those that are gonna, hop on and watch the recording later, after I had my daughter, Evelyn, I ended up gaining weight as opposed to losing the baby weight. And it was a little overwhelming because I had always been, what people call a skinny person. I didn't really know how to lose weight. I didn't really know where to start with that. Elizabeth, I'm actually going to mute all the participants, but I will unmute you. Let me see. There we go. Good to go. That way we won't get weird feedback because sometimes that just happens. So I didn't really know where to start. And I had a sister-in-law, Amanda. Well, I still have her. And I still have her. She's still my sister-in-law. And she invited me to her sister-in-law's Zumba class. Who is Elizabeth. That is how we first met. Zumba was way outside of my comfort zone. I don't know if Elizabeth remembers, but I was the girl going the opposite direction as she tried to lead the class. But you know what? She made it fun, and it was fun. And I realized that, okay, maybe I can exercise because I'd always hated it. Elizabeth then introduced me to a program called Chalene Extreme, and I started working out at home and realized that was my lifeline. I didn't have to go anywhere. I could get it done in 30 minutes during nap time or the kids, I could pause it, whatever. It just worked for me. And I learned to actually like working out, which was totally opposite of how I'd always been. And I loved it. And so I started my journey with workouts, and for the first pounds that worked. I didn't have to change too much about what I was eating. I kind of did this like weird modified Weight Watchers thing, but I was still kind of eating crap food. I hadn't really learned much, but after I had Oliver, my third child, I realized that the weight wasn't going to come off just by exercising. And it wasn't really about the weight loss anymore. It was about having a healthier life. And we learned a lot at our chiropractor's office too, in their education about eating better and fueling our bodies. And I just kind of slowly started making changes. And I truly believe that all those changes add up. And it's been, let's see, Evelyn she'll be 8. So when she was a year old is when I officially started my first weight loss journey. And from there, I've kept it off. I've kept off 40 pounds for, 7 years. That's a lot. You hear about people losing weight, and then you hear about people putting weight back on and then going through a cycle their whole life. I just don't want to be in that cycle of putting on a bunch of weight, losing a bunch of weight. I go up and down a few pounds, but that's normal life, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's a little bit of my journey.
Nice. And so what I love is between the two of us, I gained, obviously, with my daughter, I gained 59 pounds in pregnancy, and that was with a fit lifestyle. That was with working out pretty regularly. And that's just one of those things that you can't always control. I had, it was not preeclampsia, but it was close to it. So I retained a lot of water. But so between the two of us, we've almost lost and kept off 100 pounds. If I had gained 1 more pound in my pregnancy, it would be 100 pounds.
I love it.
But it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think we have a very similar story, and we have a very similar approach to food, in that we want to fuel ourselves well, but we don't believe in the deprivation. We're not deprivation girls.
Oh no, we are not.
No. And that's actually, so I never really liked working out. I wasn't like a really athletic kid. I wasn't really active, and but I grew up in Southern California, which is very image conscious. Like, as image conscious as our media is in general, I feel like in Southern California, it's extra. That's like the hotbed of it, the crucible of it. But so there was this pressure to look a certain way and be a certain weight, but I didn't really have the tools. I wasn't an athletic person. I didn't know anything about nutrition. I could tell you how many calories were in anything. A cup of chocolate chips, a banana, a bag of chips. Like, you give me the food and I could tell you the calories in it, but I didn't know nutrition. So I always just sort of had this, I was on the hamster wheel of counting calories and, trying diets. And then when I went to college, people gained a freshman 10 and a freshman 15. Well, I gained a freshman 30 thanks to hot fudge brownie sundaes and curly fries, which I was not eating when I was in my parents' house, because who feeds their kids that? But so I gained a lot of weight like fast my freshman year of college. So it took me a long time to get that off with, doing a hamster wheel of, eating diet food and sitting on the treadmill for 2 hours a day. And, so I don't know. So I have always had that battle. And then that was one of the great things about Beachbody for me, is it got me out of the gym. I wasn't spending 2 hours a day, and I started to really learn about food. And I found that, like you found, if you are primarily putting good, healthy fuel in your body, you don't have to be crazy about a cookie here or there, or 3 here, you know what I mean? So that's like why we wanted to have this chat with our challengers, because there is this sort of idea, it's a sort of puritanical idea that it has to be all or nothing. Like, if you eat 1 cookie, then there's just no point in not eating all of them, and you might as well just give up and start again and do it. First, you have to do a detox because you eat a cookie, and it's just, I think that we're living proof that is just complete hogwash, poppycock. I don't agree with it. So we're here to kind of share some tips of how we've been able to kind of live, balanced, healthy, rational lifestyle. We're not skipping cake on our birthdays and having,
no.
Do that, no. So, so you primarily, you especially think a lot about how food works in terms of fuel and how it makes you feel. So how do you think that has impacted you in terms of your journey and your family's journey?
I think that I will say 3 years ago, I did the ultimate reset, and that really actually kind of made me more in tune with my body. I think it's a good tool. I don't think you should eat that way all the time. I just don't. I think it's great for learning. And even the 21-day fix has taught me about how food affects my body. And as I'm more aware about what I'm eating, I'm realizing foods that make me feel good and foods that don't make me feel good. And I'm even realizing amounts of foods that actually I can have a little bit of treat and still feel okay, and still, feel like my body is functioning well. So I think learning about your body is really, really important. And actually, Elizabeth, as you were talking, I was thinking, you said something to me probably 2 years ago that has been ingrained into my brain. I think you were reading a book, and I can't remember the title of it, but you told me that every restriction has an
Yes.
equal and opposite spin. I
Yes.
kid you not, that phrase
Yeah.
has
Mhm.
changed how I eat.
Yes.
Because when we have this scarcity mindset, and I think sometimes, we have that about food, this like idea that, okay, I have to restrict my food. I cannot eat that. That is off limits. I'm not going to have any of that. That will not touch my lips. That is bad. I'm going to feel guilty if I eat that. When we have that mindset, I really truly think that it lends us to the opposite side of binging.
Yes.
When I finally, told myself I can eat anything, I didn't binge like I used to.
Yes. Yeah, preach. So for those of you who are wondering about that quote, it's from a woman named Janine Roth, and her name is spelled Geneen, and her last name is Roth, Roth. And that's the fourth law of her universe. her fourth law of the universe is for every diet, for every restriction you place on yourself, there is an equal and opposite binge, meaning, yes, you may be able to keep that restriction for a week, a day, a month, the carbs, the sugar, whatever, and then eventually the pendulum is going to swing the other way, and when it does, it will not be pretty. And it is so true. And honestly, I have to preach that to myself, because we live in a culture where you're always finding somebody who's not eating this or not eating that, and they look fantastic as a result, but you need to come and see them in 6 months, because I guarantee you they're not going to look or feel the same way they feel today on their green juice only cleanse. And I see it all the time, especially on social media. You see it and you feel like, even though you're eating a perfectly healthy diet, you feel good, you look good, you see that, and it's almost like, I'm not doing enough. I don't know what it is about our culture that sort of celebrates or elevates that restrictive mentality. Maybe it is our puritanical heritage. I don't know. But yes, that it is so true. And I know it for myself. And the great thing is like, now I don't even last a day when I start to do that sort of restrictive, like, I will never eat sugar ever, ever, ever again. I don't even last a few hours before I remind myself, yeah, I'm going to come off this wagon and I'm going to crash hard when I do. So yeah, that's so true. It's funny that you're saying that, because I noticed that yesterday. So for those of you who are doing the challenge group with us, our Summer Fit Challenge, this week is all about nutrition, and we started the week talking about emotional eating. And in the 6 years I've been a coach, when I work with people, I find that emotional eating and restrictive eating are the two things that really get in the way of people's progress, because emotional eating, obviously, you're using food to fuel something that it's not meant to fuel. And restrictive eating, you have that pendulum switch, that pendulum swing. So you're good. I'm going to put good in quotes, but then you have that sort of backlash, and it's just discouraging, and it's just really, it just really impedes people's progress. So we started the week talking about emotional eating. And I'm potty training my daughter this week. So if you want to see some emotional eating, you can come on over to my house, honey, because it has been a mess. It's just been a mess up in here. And she's doing great, but it's just, you have to watch her every second. And the second you take her eyes off, that's when she, I go pee on the floor. so yesterday I had cheese and crackers for dinner, and I don't mean like a little bit, like a lot. Like I had so many that's why I had it for dinner, because I was like, I can't eat anything else. And I was up all night. My stomach was like, it was like the Battle of Gettysburg in my stomach. It was just a nightmare. And I woke up this morning and I was thinking, it's funny that I think when you start to shift your mentality from, oh, how many calories did I eat? Or how many calories of this can I eat? To how much can I eat of that and still feel good and not like hate myself in the morning for like hurting my belly. You know what I mean? Like that's such a big mind shift. And it's just something that's really not taught in our diet culture. How does this make you feel? How do these diet chips make you feel? How does this soda make you feel? How does this drive-through food make you feel? But we're not really taught to think in terms like that. So Danielle, so we are clearly then not restrictors. We are moderators. And we've tried the other way, right? I mean,
yes. Oh yeah. I've tried it. And the thing is, I am so much happier when I recognize that I can eat anything. And I find that I am less like, oh, that's only going to be there. I have to eat that cupcake because I'm not going to allow myself to have another one because I'll never eat a cupcake again because I'm going to go. No, I don't have to eat that cupcake because I know that we're going to go out to dinner and I'm going to plan a treat then. Like it just changes how you think. I don't have to eat that. If I want to, I totally can. But right now, when you start to actually be in tune with your body, and you really do want to eat the cupcake, then go for it. Eat it. But a lot of times you don't really want to. You just think, oh, I have to eat it.
Or it will be gone forever because we will never have cupcakes here. Well, and so what do you think then? Because I don't do this so much anymore. When I first started my weight loss journey, I was all about like making brownies with applesauce and maple syrup and black beets. So, and a lot of our challengers come in when we first started doing this. Remember, we were kind of helping people to kind of get the process stuff out, and they would say, "Well, what if I make my chocolate chip cookies with this instead of flour and sugar?" And I know my opinion about that. What's your personal opinion for you and for your clients that you work with?
So I would say with my family, I am trying to maybe do better ingredients, but at the same time, if it doesn't taste good and I don't enjoy it, then what is the point?
Yes.
Because a lot of those, black bean brownies, it's kind of like, okay, this is sort of good, but I don't really like it, but I'm going to make myself think I like it because it's good for me and it's a treat. I just feel like if you're going to have a treat, have a treat.
Yes. Because if it's a treat and you're eating it every once in a while and not for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's not going to affect you overall. And for me, what I have found is that if there is that sort of emotional pull, I'm going to use brownies because I don't eat brownies often, but when I want a brownie, I want a brownie, like the Ghirardelli with the crackly top and the gooey center. And if I want a brownie, I have found, first of all, chocolate black beans do not satisfy that. So I will probably end up eating more of those gross brownies than I would have eaten of just the one really good treat because I'm not getting satisfied, so I eat more of it.
And you're telling yourself, well, this is good for me, so I can eat the whole pan.
and so I'm having calories that I'm not even enjoying, which is horrible anyway. I'm eating more than I would have eaten if I just had the treat. And then eventually I go have the treat. So why not just skip that middleman and go and have what I wanted in the first place? Like it doesn't, but I still, even to this day, like, even though I know this in my head, I still like, every couple, I would say weeks, I want a good chocolate chip cookie. And if I go to Starbucks, cause I don't want to make 10 dozen chocolate chip cookies when I want one. I know better than that. And if I go to Starbucks and they're sold out and I get something else like a scone or a cake pop, even if it's a good treat, if it's not what I wanted, it doesn't satisfy. You know what I mean? And so for me, I feel very much part of self-care is it's not giving into every single urge, but if you sit with an urge and you're like, you know what, I just, someone was telling me that her husband has eaten 2 chocolate chip cookies every night before bed since they've been married, and they've been married for like 20 years. And he has a very fit body. He's very healthy. And I'm like, it's almost like he's taking his medicine. Like, yep, I know I'm going to eat my 2 chocolate chip cookies and then I'm good. And I thought,
I've shared with my challengers something that I do and something that totally helps me. And I don't know why, but it's that same principle. Every night when I sit down and Andrew and I watch our TV show together, I grab myself my little seltzer and I grab one of those kids' medicine cups, those ones that come with the Tylenol, whatever, and I fill it up with chocolate chips. Okay.
The rest of the world has a shot glass, but that works.
Every night, I have my little thing of chocolate chips and I eat them one by one, and I totally enjoy my little habit. And it's a better habit than sitting down with the giant piece of cake every night or the, scrounging through the cupboards and finding, whatever crap is in there. It's just something that, this is a replacement idea that I find for me is sustainable.
And I think that that's really what you have to find. Like, I've tried have 2 pieces of dark chocolate. And for some reason, just the 2 pieces of dark chocolate don't satisfy me, but 1 chocolate chip cookie will.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more of just a cakey, bready kind of person. And then other people they're probably not even into sweets. They do exist. Allegedly. No, I'm just kidding. But
my husband doesn't do sweets.
Yeah. And Teresa is a primary example. Like I call myself the sweet friend. She's the salty friend. And because she likes chips and popcorn and cheese and things like that. So for her, she will probably need, her little thing. Popcorn is her big treat actually. And she likes cheese and things like that. And you said something that I really love, because this has been working for me so well. And I want to share this tip with the people watching. You said that you don't have to eat the dessert because you know that you're going out to dinner and you're going to get dessert then. And this has been such a big thing. So my husband and I did the Dave Ramsey Financial Freedom course, the university, back in February of this year. So that was 4 months ago. And so for those of you who aren't aware of it, Dave Ramsey, he has the, get out of debt, live within your means, you set yourself a budget. And I hate all of those things because I will eat what I want when I want it. I want to spend my money until there's none left. I don't want to think about retirement. So this is good for me, And the first time you make a budget, it's a disaster. And, it was February and we were celebrating my daughter's birthday, and we had guests coming and we were buying furniture for the house so people had a place to sit. And of course, we did our budget and we didn't account for any of those things. So halfway through the month, we were whatever, we give up. It was just a mess. But what we found is you have to look ahead at your month and you have to look and see, okay, there's birthday parties. We're probably, even if we don't have visitors, we're probably going to want to go out to dinner, or we're going to want to maybe go out with our church friends. So we need to set aside some hospitality money for that. Okay, it's our anniversary. We're probably going to want to either make a really nice dinner here. And when I took that mindset for finances and I applied it to my eating, it was okay, I really want a cookie today, but it's my birthday this week, or it's Simone's birthday this week, or I know that we're going to be having an end of the year celebration at school. Why don't I wait and save my treat, maybe bring treats, so I know I'm getting the treat I really want? So getting that sort of that budget mindset has been such a game changer for me, because I start to look ahead for the month and think, okay, if I start binging on pizza and cake today and the next week is my anniversary, I'm not going to be able to really enjoy my anniversary because I'm going to be thinking back on all the crap that I ate when it wasn't a special occasion. Yeah. And so, and some people, what they do is they just look ahead and they just know, okay, I'm just going to eat whatever I want on these certain days. Or some people, they kind of think I'm going to give myself a 250 calorie discretionary account each day.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And they can spend it on anything they want. They can have a glass of wine or they could have a latte or whatever. I just think that gives so much freedom instead of, and the idea of maybe even a treat day or cheat day, that can help people start to get into that binge mindset. Because what if your treat day is on a Wednesday, but your anniversary is on a Friday? What do you do?
Right.
You have to have your treat day on Wednesday. You have to. I mean, you can't postpone it. So I really enjoyed that sort of thinking of your calories almost sort of like a budget without getting too clenchy about it. And that started working really well for me. But
I like that.
It's really been a lot of fun. And it really does mean you have to be mindful about what you're doing for the month. You have to look ahead. And, if you think about it, there's a big holiday almost every month. I think August. I mean, I know a lot of people have birthdays in August, but there's not a holiday then. But, there's always something. There's Valentine's Day. There's Girl Scout Cookie Month. There's, Easter. There's St. Patrick's Day. So you're going to have a little shamrock cookie. There's always going to be an excuse to have dessert. So we're really not going to be deprived.
Right.
We're really not. We don't have to worry about it. There's plenty of opportunities to celebrate.
Oh, no. It's saying we only have 10 more minutes.
Well, that's.
Well, I wanted to share real quick something that you also said to me that has stuck in my head. All these wonderful Elizabeth tips that have stuck in my head. You posted on Facebook, I think, years ago. And it was something to the effect of, in some countries we have this, they have a culture of they eat well, they fuel their bodies, and then they celebrate these big days, these holidays. And yet in the United States, we tend to eat like every day is a holiday, and then we binge then we restrict ourselves on holidays. Let's make this a healthier holiday, and let's make, and I'm like, It's opposite. We should enjoy holidays. We should enjoy celebrating. We should enjoy those, those days interspersed throughout that are special. I mean, even in Bible times, they celebrated these milestones, monuments, these big days, and then every other day is when we need to just eat our sustainable, normal food that fuels our body, that makes us feel good, that helps us, live better, but not have that scarcity mindset on those days when we are supposed to celebrate. So we do have it backwards.
Yeah. And that's funny because I learned that from one of our challengers who asked, I think it was like Mother's Day or something. And she was asking for like, oh, what's a diet recipe we can make for dessert? I'm like, Mother's Day is not the time to chintz out on dessert, yo. Okay. Like, time to live it up. If my kid ever comes to me with a diet dessert on Mother's Day, I'm disowning her. I'm just telling you that right now. That's good. But yeah, so it's so true. And I was thinking about myself, like, I feel like a lot of us, America, obviously amazing, best country ever. Sorry, I'm going to put it out there, but we live very stressful lives and we work more hours than most people. I mean, other countries like look at us like we're absolutely like stupid because we work so much. We don't have as many, days off and vacations and time with our family as other places. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we do kind of like cram these kind of, it's like we're trying to create fake celebrations to help cope with the stress of our lives. And so I totally understand why people do it. That's why I used to do it when I, worked as in-house counsel. I'd walk by the break room and I'd be like, is there any cookies in here or any candy? Or I'd go by the vending machine because the sugar just helped me feel like my life wasn't such a dark place. And so if we're constantly doing that, if we're constantly trying to use food to create celebration, then we really need to look at our lives and see what's really lacking here. Where can I create more joy and peace and really save this kind of food for when it really counts, which is, Christmas and Thanksgiving and Elizabeth's birthday.
That's right. Yeah. And I think, and to stop using food to, like you said, to put that bandage on the things. And really, I think being, part of, like you said, self-care and even just realizing our own selves is when you are feeling that, okay, I'm stressed, whatever, and you go to eat, you have to learn to stop yourself and recognize why. Why do I want to eat this? What's going on? And if you can kind of evaluate first and say, okay, I want to eat this because I really want to enjoy this. This is, a good time. But if you're just wanting to eat that because you're trying to assuage some, guilty feelings, some shame, some overwhelm, some stress, then it might be a good time to stop and say, you know what, this might not be the best time to eat that. And, find other ways to, which will have another call about coping with stress.
That's our next coffee chat. Well, it's funny. Janine Roth actually mentioned this too. She talks about pausing before you eat, especially if you're eating something like I eat my chocolate chip cookies. She talks about pausing. And, you can take that pause and think like, okay, am I really eating this because I really want this? Or am I really eating this because I have the overwhelm, because I got this nasty email from my boss, or because, whatever, I have this bill that just came due and I can't afford to pay it. And she said, you still have permission to eat the food after you pause. But just knowing why you're doing it means that you are less likely to turn that into a binge because you have awareness. And one of the things you can do is you can tell yourself, you know what, I'm probably eating this cookie because I'm stressed. I'm going to wait and enjoy the cookie when I'm not stressed. And that's so powerful because it's almost kind of like you still have permission to eat that, but you're telling yourself, wait until you're actually going to enjoy that food. Don't just use it and then feel guilty afterwards, So, and it's something, she talks a lot about being slow. She really has a big policy about eating in your car, which I know as moms, I didn't eat in my car really until I became a mom. And then it's like, this is like one of the few times when I don't have somebody crawling in my lap that I can just like eat. So I started eating in my car. Janine Roth would not approve. And I do notice that when you're in your car, it's hard to enjoy it. You can't bring your mindfulness to it, but that's another call. So
yeah, for sure.
This has been fun.
Oh,
This is
definitely.
cool.
I know. I'm glad you all could join us. Yay!
I don't know. Can we open it up? Does anybody want any questions? Or
Yeah.
we have a few minutes. I don't know.
Yeah. So fire away. If you know how to unmute your line, you can just start talking.
Yeah. Or there's a chat if you don't want to talk. If you guys are shy, there's a little chat. You see the chat thing at the bottom. I think you can type in there if you want to. But yeah, so I think Danielle, one of the things I love about Danielle, besides the fact that she's very lovable, is that she's such a fitness success story, and she's living proof. Like, I actually use you, Danielle, because we also have very similar weights and body styles. And I use you as an example to myself of, Elizabeth, you know that you do not have to do this. You do not have to be restrictive. You can be fit. You can be healthy. Like, I mean, really, we're not trying to be Sports Illustrated swimsuits models. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to do that. I mean, I'm going to be 38 this year. I think that ship has sailed for me. So, you know what I mean? Like, so what exactly are my goals for my body? Like, really just to be fit and healthy and to like the way I look. And I'm kind of at that weight. So you can do that and still, really enjoy your life. Hello, little red. How are you?
Good.
I love your hair. It's good. Did you have fun with your mommy on vacation?
Yes, we had.
I saw the pictures. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't think anybody has any.
Thank you.
Oh.
I know people are chatting now. Yay.
Yeah, it got hung up a little bit for me. So I'm so glad you guys could join. Thank you, Danielle, for hosting this. And yeah, this has been really good. And I think you guys can share this recording if you know somebody that you're like, all right, we all have that friend that we're always like, okay, you and me, we're going to do the green juice fast this next month. Like, if you have somebody who's your little restriction buddy, maybe you want to share this call with them and be like, maybe there's a better way for us to do this,
abundantly and with joy and to enjoy. And I think sometimes we miss out on that because we're trying to make ourselves perfect, and that's no fun.
So it's gonna happen. Like, it's perfect.
I'll get the link up to share it, and yeah, I'll do that right after we get off.
Awesome. Thank you guys for jumping on. Have a great weekend. Bye,
guys.
Bye.
Good girl, getting crazy.